Drunk Spiritual Teaching. Well, hello there. It's another episode of Drunk Spiritual Teaching. I am Nick, and I'm going to start this over. Oh my god. He just farted. So, welcome, hello. My name is Nick, and this is Drunk Spiritual Teaching, where I get to talk about spiritual things while I am slightly intoxicated. Tonight I'm well-balanced, actually, very well-balanced drunk. I'm like between beer and wine right now, and the beer is just totally filling my stomach. I'm complimenting the wine beautifully, while I taste the wine very much still in my mouth and like in my brain a little. It was a little expensive, and yet it still kind of tastes bad. Anyway, so you got to see what the wine is. So what today is about is spiritual teaching. How perfect to do spiritual teaching when we're doing a drunk spiritual teaching at the same time. Mind blown. So, for a long time, I've wanted to do spiritual teaching. I've wanted to be a spiritual teacher, and I'm glad I didn't dive right into it, because I'm starting to realize something. And I don't know, this is kind of partly symbolically, metaphorically, representatively why I'm doing drunk spiritual teaching. I'm doing this because I kind of realized after a while that you can't teach. You can teach, but you can't teach. There's nothing to teach. There's all these elements, and I'm going to be talking about that today. So the first one of, what was it? I can't teach you anything. I think that was the second one, but let's go with that. I can't teach you anything. And that's not to mean that I am not full of knowledge or, you know, valuable information or whatever, so please continue to watch. It more has to do with the element that something like this, it's hard to teach, because how can you describe something so out of this world, so beyond this world, and use things of this world, e.g. words and like ideas and references. It's hard to teach spiritually. It's hard to teach spiritual things. So I'm doing this because it's easy. No, because I think it just makes everyone take this a little bit less seriously. And I guess that's another good point to dive into. Yeah, let's. So, even I, but everybody, maybe not everybody, that's a generalization, but a lot of people say, or do, I should say do these spiritual things and so spiritual lessons and spiritual classes and spiritual understandings and spiritual ideas and all these spiritual things, does these spiritual things in a very serious manner, in a very complicated way, in a way that I'm just like, oh my god, like yes, it's important information, but like at the same time, like, no, why are you taking this so seriously? This ain't fun. This ain't what God wanted. It's a bit of a weird thing to say, but I couldn't think of what to say. So anyway, we're taking this way too seriously, and it's not because it's not a serious topic. You know, you can have moments of serious thought and concern, I don't know, just serious thought, but this whole thing isn't very that serious if you really like kind of look at it and think about it. Like, none of it really makes sense. None of it is really that, you know, real. I don't know, just don't take this thing so seriously. So, spiritual teaching. Let's kind of break this down a little bit. So, I don't know, Buddhas and gurus, let's start there. A good, whatever that means, a good Buddha or guru, or spiritual teacher, or any kind of, you know, spiritual teacher, knows that, like, at the heart, like, you can't really teach this stuff. You can't really share. And, like, okay, I'm not saying this right at all, but they all kind of know that you have to experience this. You have to go through your own process. You have to make the decisions. You have to be the one that makes the realizations. You're the one that has to feel the feelings. So no matter what they do or say or whatever, none of that really matters unless the person, the individual or whatever, actually acts on that and actually like takes a step towards that and actually like does something to do with whatever is being talked about. Oh, I just saw, look, it's Attila. I made a long story, but I made it like a thing for Attila out of metal, and it's for my brother, and it's of Attila, and I make jewelry, and ooh, that's a good little plug. Buy my jewelry. So anyway, so spiritual teachers, they teach these things for many reasons. Like, you can kind of express ideas or share words that inspire a moment of, you know, that understanding or spiritual wisdom or, you know, feeling or goal or expression, whatever you want to attain, I guess, through spiritual teaching. So we can still do it. Like I said, it's kind of meaningless, but it's not meaningless at the same time. We're all playing a game with each other. We're all playing this kind of cosmic, hilarious game with each other. And so, like, why not go to a spiritual teacher and talk to them about spiritual things? Because, you know, you get some good ideas. Like, I don't know, that whole half glass, half full, empty thing, you know? That's a great example. So I'm trying to encourage people not to take this so seriously, and I'm talking very quickly because I feel like I just need to talk quickly, but I just run out of time every time. But there's a lot to talk to things about. So be yourself, another excellent spiritual line, or just line in general that goes around the entire world and universe all the time, every second. Facebook feed is excellent at that one. Be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. I think that's a good example or representation. God, this lining is perfect, by the way. I am loving it. It's like kind of a weird storm right now. Anyway, I'm so off topic. What am I talking about? So I can't remember what I was talking about, but I'm just going to go on to this idea because this idea is way more exciting anyway. I think what I was talking about was the student element of spiritual teaching. So a spiritual teacher is kind of meaningless without their student. Like, a teacher is not a teacher unless the teacher is a student, I guess. But the point of this is that it's up to the student to decide if they're a student or not. Like I said before, like, it's all your choice and decision, expectations, blah, 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 why you go to spiritual teaching. So you're the one that's deciding you're going to be a student. And so it's also your decision to when you need to not be a student and when you want to be like a teacher, or I don't know, you just want to go and like live your thing and do your life and, you know, feel good and love spirit or whatever that is. But yeah, so kind of realize that, you know, as much as you're a student, or I guess you have this idea, let's say it like this, you have this idea of learning spiritual things or learning spirituality, when in truth you are it. You are like what you're learning. Your spirit in, you know, physicality. Oh, this beard, by the way. Anyway, I'm getting caught up in my own emotional self. Whatever that is. Just kind of realize that, you know, you're a spiritual person. You're spiritual before you even became a person. Let's put it like that. So don't take any of this too seriously. Don't feel like that you actually need to learn or go to some spiritual teacher or something like that. I always say the very reason... Oh my god, my dog is playing with his ball and is having a lot of fun. I know, it's so much more cute than spiritual teaching. Like, why should I do spiritual teaching when I could just film this dude, like, doing his thing? Like, that's what spirituality is. That's what spirit is. But... Damn it, I forgot where I was again. I'm talking so quickly this entire video. So just kind of realizing that you're the student. You're deciding you're the student. So... Oh yeah, so what do you need to learn? Like, if you're deciding you're the student, what does that kind of make you? Who do you become when you realize that, when you really actually realize that I'm the one that's deciding that I need to be taught, I need to learn something. I'm lacking in knowledge, so I need to be learned. So as a spiritualness, as a spiritual soul thing, and you come into this physical body, and then you come here and you have this idea in your head that you've got to like think and learn lessons and like discover all these things, and then you can go back to like God or whatever and be like, hey God, this is what I learned from this lesson. Like, I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's exactly like that. And I don't know why I'm bringing this up. I'm kind of like all over the place, and I think this is very perfect and relevant to this video because when someone tries to teach or tell or even explain something to someone, it just makes it more complicated. Excuse me, it just kind of like fills it more with distractions and with confusing things, or with, you know, it just makes the thing bigger. So when you go to a spiritual teacher and you have this mentality of, oh my God, I know nothing, I need to learn something, you just make it more complicated for yourself. Like, it doesn't really matter with a spiritual teacher and all that. Like, they'll take your money or they won't. They'll, you know, say you don't need to do this, or they say they will. You know, like, who cares about them? I don't even know why I'm bringing them up right now. The most important thing is, I guess because I'm talking about spiritual teaching, but the important thing is realizing that you're the one that decides whether you need teaching. You're the one that decides whether or not you need healing. You're the one that decides whether or not you need to go through this, that, or not, or yes, or no. I think that's clear. So learn, like, I don't want to defer people from going to spiritual teachers. I don't want to defer people from trying to learn and discover themselves and their spiritual self and who they are spiritually and spirit and spirit and spirit. I don't want to defer that because it's amazing. And like, I went through that, you know, you kind of almost automatically do that process. I think you kind of automatically just like think that you need to learn before you learn. And I don't know, like, just, that's the way things go. But just, I don't know, like, I just think the best thing for, like, if you're gonna do this spiritual stuff, and like, I guess you are because you're watching this video, just don't take it all so seriously. Just kind of enjoy the whole experience of it, because like, the reason we can't really explain it is because we're trying to explain something that like can't be explained by words, that can't really be like analyzed in a machine, or, you know, even our brains, you know, like, we're trying to like understand something that isn't really meant to be understood. And like, I don't know, I always say this, when there's a contradiction, when it's like, it's all but it's one, or I don't know, what's a good example? I don't know, just those ideas where it's like there's the opposite and there's the opposites. This is how I want to say it. There's the opposites, and they like contradict each other, and they're both kind of right at the same time. That's the debacle, the debacle, the debacle, the reason why we can't explain it is because like, it's not really meant to be explained. And the more we kind of just flow with it and don't take any of it that seriously, the more, I don't know, I just feel like the more spirit comes through. This is gonna be a long video, I can just tell now. But like, as a spiritual reader, as, you know, another, oh, this is great, I'm plugging myself beautifully. Another advertisement, I do spiritual readings, come and learn from me. After this, you'll be like, hell no. Oh my gosh. But just what I've discovered from spiritual teaching and all that kind of thing, spiritual teaching, spiritual reading and all that kind of thing, is that like spirit or God or, you know, people from the other side, or, you know, archangels, whatever you want to put it, however you want to describe it, however you want to say it, none of them really like take it that seriously, and they're always laughing. Like, I do readings for people, and, you know, it's like their past relative, like grandmother or sister or something like that, and they're so full of laughter and love and joy, and they're like, it's not because they're just on that other side where everything is bliss or whatever. It's not just that. They're the reason that it's bliss. Like, it's not just automatically blissful over the other side. It's not automatically heaven. It's made heaven by the souls or whatever. Like, ugh, that's such a complicated word. I gotta do a spiritual teaching on that one. But that whole other side, you know, they make the choice. So I'm just saying to you, you make the choice, and you're the student until you say you're no longer the student. And I guess that just kind of means like, just be a student and a teacher at the same time, and just like kind of find that middle path of like, oh, I'm just like here to listen to people talk about things. And, you know, maybe it resonates, maybe it pops, maybe it sings to me and I'm going to do that thing, or I'm going to think about that idea. Or maybe it doesn't ring, it doesn't pop, and it just kind of like flattens like a whoopee cushion or something. It just becomes flat and blah. Like, who cares about it? And that's great too, and that's cool too. Like, I don't know, it doesn't diminish the thing, it doesn't make it like meaningless. I guess to you maybe, but not to the entire universe. So I don't know. Spiritual teaching, like, I'm gonna do more videos on all these things because all these things are so deep and I can't talk about this stuff in like 10 to 15 minutes. Like, I try to like shorten this shit, but like, holy crap, just grow some patience and just sit and watch the movies, the videos, because they have value. I guess. Anyway, thank you for listening. You're gonna hear from later Drunken Nick, maybe, if I remember. But love yourself and love the spiritual world and teaching and all that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. It's really cool. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating. Listen to Alan Watts. Listen to Bashar. Listen. What am I saying? It's a good thing to be spiritually inclined. It just makes life better. And I guess that's the biggest thing I should say. Not the biggest thing, but just another thing I should say is that I learn a lot of good things from spirituality and discovering this stuff and learning from it. So learn from it if you want and discover, but just, I don't know. You'll just come to a realization that, like, you don't have to do anything. You just be, and just everything is spiritual and everything is love and everything is born from that incredible source or whatever that is. And I don't know. Malarkey. So, it is later Drunken Nick in the garden. Beautiful, right? Magic. I've got an important point, and that point is you are your greatest teacher. You are the greatest teacher for you, and the reason why is because you are you. You are in you. You hear your thoughts, you feel your feelings, you feel those feelings. You are you, and like, if you understand that, if you realize that, and you go, oh, yeah, so I know myself best. Are you not the best, most qualified, most perfect person to teach yourself? I don't know, that's just my opinion, but anyway. I love you. Love you. Bye-bye. Spiritual! Okay, maybe not.